Philippines and good day world. It's Friday, November 3, 2023, and you're watching Newsline World. I'm Mikey Dennis Oliveira.
And I'm Frederico Velloso. We are here to bring you the top stories we've gathered from all over the globe.
Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida is in the Philippines for talks with President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. Let's get to know the details later on.
The Israel-Palestine conflict resulted in the deaths of more than 10,500 amid calls for ceasefire.
On the Russia-Ukraine conflict, Kiev's top general acknowledges Russia's advantage due to its large population and greater resources.
FTX founder and once called crypto king Sam Bankman-Fried convicted of fraud.
And China is set to its 6th International Import Expo in Shanghai.
This and more for tonight's edition of Newsline World.
First in the news, President Bongbong Marcos has announced his successor in the position of Agriculture Secretary, who is also known as a fishing magnate in the country. MJ Modahar reports.
Philippine President Bongbong Marcos wasted no time getting back to work after the All Saints and All Souls Day holidays. His first order of business on Friday was to call for an early press conference at Malacanang for an important announcement.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying out a new setup, for this very important occasion, I have just administered the oath of office for the new Secretary of the Department of Agriculture, Francisco Laurel, who is standing here next to me.
Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. is set to replace President Marcos Jr. as Agriculture Secretary. He is a billionaire and a seasoned businessman with expertise in refrigeration, net manufacturing, engine overhauling, hydraulics, electronics, shipbuilding, and ship repair. Laurel, a fishing tycoon, serves as a president of the Frabel Fishing Corporation, one of the world's deep-sea fishing companies. He is also the president of Agusan Power Corporation, which recently inaugurated a 24.9 megawatt Lake Mainit hydropower plant with the president himself as the guest of honor. Laurel is also a member of the Private Sector Advisory Council, or PSAC, an association of billionaire business people in the Philippines who provide advice to the president. It is these qualifications and connections that President BBM considered when appointing him as Agriculture Secretary.
Nagsimula siya sa pangingisda, ngunit na yung mga iba't ibang panig ng agrikultura ay napasukan na niya. Kaya nauunawaan niya hindi lamang kung ano yung problema, kung hindi ang mga solusyon sa problemang yun. At bukod pa ron, kilala na niya ang mga tao, yung tinatawag na mga expert, na mga professional, ay kilala na niya at madali niyang lapitan para magtulungan, para nga matugunan at mabigyan ng solusyon ang mga problema sa larangan ng agrikultura.
President Marcos has held the position of Agriculture Chief for over a year. During this time, he realized the need for a full-time Agriculture Chief, which is now his mandate for the new official.
Well, the obvious one is trying gain control of the prices of all the agricultural commodities that are going up. At tinatamaan tayo ng yun napag-usapan ko, climate change. Alam niyo na lahat yung swine flu, alam niyo na lahat yung avian flu na tumatama sa atin. Kaya yan ang una natin.
Sa mga darating na araw, ilalatag ko sa inyo ang mga plano ng kagawaran ng agrikultura in coordination with our President. Pangunahing adhikain ko ang pagtiyak na sagana ang ating ani at siguraduhin ito ay nakakarating sa hapag ng bawat Pilipino.
Laurel has also called for full cooperation from the members of the Department of Agriculture as he assumes his new role. For Ganimable of Philippines, MJ Mondihar, SMNI News.
Thailand will be sending its largest ever delegation for the annual trade fair in the Chinese city of Shanghai, which is set to begin this weekend. Anissa de Guzman has more.
20 innovative food and beverage companies from Thailand will showcase a variety of products during the 6th China International Import Expo, CIIE. The 6th CIIE will be held from November 5 to 10 in the Chinese economic hub of Shanghai. Pamtam Wichayachai, Deputy Prime Minister and Commerce Minister of Thailand, said that the country has benefited from the annual trade fair, which serves as an important platform to exhibit a wide range of Thai products.
เศรษฐกิจจีนภายใต้การตัดสินใจเปิดตลาดโลกและก็แนวทางที่สร้างวันเบสวันโรดก็เป็นแนวทางที่ประสานประโยชน์กันทั้งหมดเชื่อมต่อโลกเข้าหากันซึ่งเป็นประโยชน์ให้กันและกันผมดีใจที่ประเทศจีนเปิดประเทศให้ผมได้มีโอกาสไปหาตลาดให้แล้วก็ดีใจที่ประเทศจีนเปิดโอกาสให้ผม
Meanwhile, Thai Vice Minister of Commerce Pantil Jongkitrakul said that the local authorities are hoping the platform will help support the development of small and medium-sized companies in Thailand.
ทางจีนนะครับได้มีการจัดงาน CIIE มาตั้งแต่ครั้งแรกในปี 2018 จนถึงปัจจุบันเนี่ยของเราก็เข้าร่วมมาตลอดนะครับก็มีการเขาเรียกว่าฟีดแบ็กจากผู้ประกอบการที่ดีนะครับแล้วก็เพราะว่าเขาก็มองว่าหลายคนเนี่ยเห็นอยู่แล้วว่าจีนเนี่ยเป็นตลาดที่ใหญ่นะครับแล้วทุกคนก็รู้ว่างานนี้เป็นการเปิด
The event will not only boost bilateral trade but will also offer the Southeast Asian country a chance to explore one of the largest markets in the world, as well as showcase Thailand's potential to the global market. More than 6,000 attendees, including those from Thailand, will participate in the event. Disha Anissa de Guzman, Dranganchak Kuntep Mahanakon, SMN News, Pratetthai, Sawadika.
The eruption of Klyuchevskaya Sobka, Eurasia's highest active volcano in the east of Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula, was caught on camera. Footage shows clouds of smoke, ash, and magma rising in the air. The volcano had two ash cloud emissions with experts estimated as heights of 11,000 and 13,000 meters above the sea level. Reports say that the volcano erupted on October 30 and intensified on October 31, spurring the Kamchatka Volcanic Eruption Response Team to issue a red alert for aviation because the volcanic activity could affect low-flying aircraft. Meanwhile, the press service of Russian Ministry of Emergency Situations in the Kamchatka region recently reported that volcanic ash fallout was seen in the village of Klyuchi in the UST Kamchatka Municipal District. Previous eruptions of Klyuchevskaya Sobka occurred in 1994 and 2013.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister of Australia prepares to travel to China for an official visit as both countries make an effort to ease years of diplomatic tensions which resulted in a multi-dollar trade war. Deivid Suarez has the story.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's upcoming visit to China will make him the first Australian leader to visit the Asian country in 7 years. He's expected to raise a series of concerns, including contentious issues surrounding the South China Sea. China is Australia's largest two-way trading partner in goods and services, accounting for nearly one-third, or about 32.2% of the country's global trade. The trade war with China resulted in the disruption of Australian exports worth up to $19 billion a year. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is scheduled to arrive in Beijing on Saturday, making him the first Australian leader to do so in the past 7 years. Both leaders are expected to talk about Chinese sanctions on Australian goods, including barley, beef, cotton, lamb, lobster and timber.
I will travel to China from the 4th to the 7th of November. It is important that we stabilise our relationship with China. That is in the interests of Australia and China, and it is indeed in the interests of the world that we have stable relations, and that is what this visit will represent. A win-win. Australia gets to export our wine. Importantly, China gets to receive this amazing product.
The meeting will take place nearly a month after Beijing released Chinese-born Australian journalist Cheng Lei, who was detained for over 3 years on national security charges. In return, Australia said it will not cancel the proposed 99-year lease of Darwin Port to a Chinese operator, a move criticized by the United States as a security threat. The Australian Prime Minister is also expected to raise concerns about the 4-year detention of the Australian writer Yang Hengjun. He is also scheduled to attend the China International Import Expo in Shanghai during the state visit. Albanese's upcoming diplomatic tour to China will take place more than a week after his whirlwind visit to Washington, where he held bilateral talks with U.S. President Joe Biden. Reporting from New South Wales, this is Devi Suarez, SMNI News, Australia.
FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried was convicted of $8 billion fraud, potentially facing a 10 prison term. And Natalia Prado will give us the rest of the details live. Natalia?
Sabado ng November pero hindi pa rin tayo pahuhuli pagdating sa pagbibigay ng serbisyo publiko. Kasama ang inyong OFW Party List at ang Pag-ibig Fund, sabay-sabay nating alamin ang latest updates patungkol sa pambansang pabahay para sa OFWs. Silipin natin ang isa na namang bayanihan na may tunay na malasakit. Sa Tanawan, Batangas, hatid ng inyong OFW Party List at iisa-isahin natin ang inyong mga katanungan at concerns na sasagutin natin ng may agarang aksyon at praktikal na solusyon. Kasama pa rin ang kaagapay at kakampi ng bawat OFW at Pilipino, Congresswoman Marisa Del Mar Magsino. Abangan ngayong Sabado, 5 to 6 p.m. dito lang sa OFW, Ikaw ang Bida. Dito lang sa SMNI.
Back in the news, the FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried convicted of $8 billion fraud, potentially facing a lengthy prison term. Natalia Prado will give us the rest of the details live. Natalia?
Yes, my crypto king Sam Bankman-Fried is also facing decades of jail time after being found guilty of fraud and money laundering. After a month-long trial in New York, Sam Bankman-Fried, the former billionaire founder of cryptocurrency exchange FTX, has been found guilty on 7 counts of fraud and conspiracy involving $8 billion. The verdict comes after 2 weeks of trial and may result in a decades-long prison sentence. FTX was once valued at $32 billion. However, it went bankrupt in November 2022 after $8 billion in customer funds went missing. Bankman-Fried was also arrested last year after FTX went bankrupt. He was charged with misappropriating customer funds, deceiving investors, and borrowing substantial sums for his hedge fund, Alameda Research. 5 of the charges that the crypto king was found guilty carries a maximum prison term of 20 years and a 5-year maximum on 2 other charges. The sentence is scheduled for March 28 on the next year, and there's a possibility of second trial with additional charges, pending a government decision by February 1, also next year. Back to you, Mike.
Thank you very much, Natalia, for your live report.
A bomb blast in Dera Ismail Khan, Pakistan killed 5 and injured 22, leading to increased security and an ongoing investigation. In Dera Ismail Khan, Pakistan, a bomb explosion near police patrol resulted in 5 fatalities and 22 injuries. The blast occurred in the Tank Ada area, believed to have been caused by a bomb planted in a motorbike. Authorities are investigating the incident and security has been heightened in the region. There, Ismail Khan has faced security challenges before, given its location in the home state of former Prime Minister Imran Khan. It has also long been home for foreign and domestic armed groups. The authorities are determined to bring the culprits to justice and ensure the safety of the region. According to Pakistani media, the latest blast comes days after a police officer was killed when unknown gunmen opened fire in a police camp located in Del Esma Khan. It can be noted that violence has increased in Pakistan this year, primarily linked to the increased activity of the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, or TTP, a banned group that is ideologically aligned with the Taliban of Afghanistan.
Meanwhile, Japan plans to provide surveillance radars to the Philippines during the Japanese Prime Minister's diplomatic visit to the Southeast Asian country. Kyoko Hashimoto has the details.
The Philippines is set to become the first country to receive surveillance radars from Japan under Tokyo's Official Security Assistance, or OSA program. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida is set to affirm the plan when he meets with the Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. during his trip to Southeast Asia, which started this Friday. The air surveillance radar system will help further improve the ability of the Philippine Air Force to detect aircraft and aerial domain. Tokyo is also considering the possibility of starting negotiations with Manila to conclude a reciprocal access agreement, which will allow Japanese and Filipino troops to conduct joint drills and other activities. Kishida will also travel to Malaysia during his 3-day state visit to Southeast Asia until Sunday. The official visit to the region took place ahead of Tokyo's plan to host a special summit with ASEAN leaders in December to mark 50 years of friendship. Launched in April of this year, Tokyo's OSA program aims to provide defense equipment and other supplies to link-minded countries to enhance security cooperation. Ijo, Hashimoto Kyoko ni Onkara hukuku itashimashita. SMNI News, Japan.
Newsline World will be back after the break.
Mga kababayan na nasa ibayong dagat at mayroong mga mahal na nasa ibang bansa, maging sa mga nais mangibang bayan. Abangan ang programang Kabayan Abroad sa bagong itong time slot tuwing Biyernes, alas 9 hanggang alas 10 ng gabi, si Kabayang Parties Representative Ron Salo, Lady B at Sara Santos ng SMNI. Alamin ang mga programa ng pamahalaan, kabayan at SMNI para sa ating mga OFWs. Matuto patungkol sa iba't ibang kultura, tunghayan ng pagtatagumpay ng ating mga bagong bayani sa Kabayan Abroad, dito lamang sa SMNI.
Si Mang Juan, si Manong Jess, si Manong Jess, si Mang Juan. Magkatuwang para sa bayan. Dito sa Bayan ni Juan. Bayan ni Juan. Si Senador Juan Ponce Enrile at Jess Aranza. No holds barred na usapan. Dito sa Bayan ni Juan. Bayan ni Juan.
Welcome to SMNI. You're watching Business and Politics. I'm Dante Klinkang.
Today's world can be described by the acronym VUCA, which stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And yet, being immobilized by fear is not an option. How will captains of industry navigate the course ahead? And what policy assistance will they get from the leaders in government? Watch SMNI as it tackles these and other important questions of the day. On Business and Politics, hosted by Dante Klinkang II, Chairman and CEO of the Manila Times. New episodes featuring corporate and political leaders air every Saturday. Prime time at 7 p.m. Only here on SMNI. Truth that matters.
Hey, we're glad you found SMNI News. If you subscribe to TV programs that help build the nation, then we got you covered. Watch your favorite TV shows through GSAT TV Channel 40, Signal TV Channel 186. And if you are a Sky Cable subscriber, you can watch SMNI in National Capital Region, Sky Cable Channel 162, Cebu, Sky Cable Channel 37, Davao City, Sky Cable Channel 14, 43, and 46, General Santos City, Sky Cable Channel 37, Zamboanga, Sky Cable Channel 53, Bacolod, Sky Cable Channel 37, Iloilo, Sky Cable Channel 36, Dumaguete, Sky Cable Channel 37, Baguio, Sky Cable Channel 14, and Lawag, Sky Cable Channel 10. You may also watch SMNI on digital TV in Davao City and Manila, and also in TV Plus and GMA Afford the Box, and over 500 cable TV affiliates nationwide. Watch SMNI on digital channels in Mega Manila, Channel 39 and 43. We are also on analog TV in Lawag, Channel 35, Isabela, Channel 37, Vegan, Channel 38, Rojas, Channel 39, Butuan, Channel 39, and Davao, Channel 43. If you're on your mobile phone, download SMNI app or visit smni.com to get the latest news, updates, and more. Also, browse through the day's top stories and receive notifications for breaking news. Watch us live on our official Facebook and Rumble accounts, and you can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, so you don't miss out on our extra minute segments. Wherever you decide to watch, we're glad you choose SMNI News, the home of nation builders who bravely bring truth that matters.
We don't need to explain, because truth needs no justification. We are not afraid, because the truth will always win. When we ask questions, it's always for the good of all. We question to build, not to break. We question to clarify, not to confuse. We question to protect, not hurt. Truth hurts, but it heals. Tune in to SMNI, where truth is free. SMNI, defining true press freedom.
There is no country like the Philippines. This is the most beautiful country in the world.
Dapat lahat ng Pilipino magmahal sa Pilipinas.
365 days, 52 weeks, 8,760 hours, 24/7 uninterrupted service, all in the service of God and country. Indeed made a significant difference for the Philippines and the lives of every Filipino. But we will not stop here. This is just the beginning.
We already have that image right now of SMNI, that SMNI is only standing for the truth, that SMNI and its credibility is inviolable, that SMNI and its integrity is not for sale. That is the image that SMNI right now, because credibility to us is more than $1 billion pesos, as long as our credibility stands, that we are telling only the truth. That's why the tagline of SMNI is truth that matters.
For nation building, for upholding truth over narrative, for our beloved country, this is SMNI.
Back in the news, the arrival of 6 overseas Filipino workers from Lebanon took place on Friday. The remains of Angeline Peralta Aguirre, a Filipina caregiver who was also killed in the Hamas attack, have also returned. David Lira will give us more details live. David?
Fred, the Philippine government's efforts to bring OFWs home from country affected by conflict or war continue, just like the 6 OFWs who returned from Lebanon on Friday.
Fear and trauma drove Jeneline, Lorena, and Clarita to decide to return to the Philippines from Lebanon.
Ang sa akin na lang yung safety na lang at yung pag-aalala ng pamilya ko na araw-araw tumatawag, ano, kamusta ka dyan? Much better na umuwi ka na lang kaysa ganitong nababalita namin na araw-araw may gera doon.
Marami na rin po akong karanasan na sa ganung gulo, pero po this time po, nung narinig ko na po yung ganung pong tunog, di na po ako makatulog. Kaya po nag-decide na po akong umuwi.
Talaga po nag-decide na po ako umuwi kasi sa sitwasyon po ng Lebanon at saka Israel is a very bad situation. Saka yung mga nangyayari po talagang noon kasi nasakop na ako ng gera nung una kaya may trauma po ako talaga. Kaya minsan naririnig ko yung bomba gabi-gabi. Minsan di ako nakakatulog. Wala na ako sa isip minsan.
They were welcomed by officials, including Kabayan Part List Representative Ronsalo, Department of Migrant Workers Officer in Charge, Undersecretary Hans Leo Cagdac, Overseas Workers Welfare Administration Administrator Arnel Ignacio, and other representatives from the DSWD, TESDA, and DOH.
Second batch of 6 returnees from Lebanon. As you know, alert level 3 na tayo sa Lebanon. So voluntary repatriation mode na tayo, voluntary repatriates. May first batch na dumating noong Sabado ng gabi, 4. They quietly came home. Kaya't ang total natin ngayon, 10 sa Lebanon.
Upon their arrival at Naya Terminal 3 on November 3, the Filipinos underwent a medical examination by the Bureau of Quarantine. Most of them do not want to return to Lebanon and plan to start businesses in the Philippines.
Nakikita po ninyo sa mga hanay po natin ngayon, mga magiging businesswoman tong mga to. Sapagkat base po sa kanilang aming pag-usap kanina, may kanya-kanya po silang iniisip na umpisahan na negosyo para kung ano man po yung ibigay sa kanila ng ating pamahalaan ay magiging puhunan po nila ito.
Thanks po sa lahat po ng OWA, Polo, sa Lebanon po. Ganon din po dito sa pag-assist sa amin. Masaya po kaming lahat po na nakarating dito.
Yusek Cagdan mentioned that more than 100 Filipino workers in Lebanon are still processing their documents to return to the Philippines. There's still a deployment ban for newly hired Filipino workers in Lebanon. The DMW acknowledges the presence of undocumented Filipino workers in Lebanon, numbering in the thousands. They are over 17,000 Filipinos in Lebanon, with most of them working as domestic workers. To recall, Lebanon was raised to alert level 3 in connection with the Israel-Hamas war that broke out on October 7. Under Alert Level 3, the Philippine government implements voluntary repatriation for Filipinos in that country. The government also assured that they will provide assistance to affected OFWs amid the conflict.
The whole of government approach requires all the agencies here today to provide their respective forms of assistance that generally will cover pantawid ng financial assistance, livelihood assistance, employment assistance, and psychosocial counseling, and of course the DOH, yung health and well-being nila, physical and mental wellness.
Meanwhile, the remains of the OFWs Angeline Aguirre, who was killed following the unprecedented attack of Hamas on Israel, have also arrived. Angeline was a 32-year-old caregiver who died on October 7, 2023, when her kibbutz in southern Israel was attacked by Hamas while attempting to save the elderly she was caring for. The DMW and OWA have ensured support for her and will provide her with a hero's welcome in Bimale, Pangasinan.
Death and burial benefits kasi OWA member si Angeline. Sa side ng DMW, yung Action Fund, nagbigay tayo ng financial assistance din. Nung nandun kami, nakikiusap yung family, nabigyan ng trabaho yung tatlong kapatid. So we're working on that with the Secretary Benny Laguez Manandone at ng local government. No, nakausap din namin si Governor Roque dito. And then, yung livelihood assistance at school assistance naman ng OWA.
Oh, it will be a very special welcome para sa kanya. So, as I've said, yung ultimong yung lugar na kung saan siya ibuburol, pina-aircon natin, nilagyan natin sila ng generator, nilagyan natin sila ng mga urinals para sila makapag-focus dun sa kanilang pagluluksa na maayos. Hindi na sila nababurden paano yung gagawin, pagkain. We will supply all the food necessary sa araw-araw na mangyayari na pagbuburol.
Fred, that's the latest in the Philippine government's effort to help OFWs trapped in the ongoing tension. Meanwhile, Hamas has released 5 hostages out of the more than 200 that is snatched in the southern Israel during their surprise attack on October 7. Back to you, Fred.
Thank you. That's Deivid Lira, live on SMNI Studios.
Meanwhile, the government of Thailand assured that the 20 Thais captured by Hamas are safe and are being relocated to prepare for their much-awaited release. Chat Mongkong Pisamagoson reports.
Ongoing efforts to rescue nearly 2 dozen Thai hostages taken captive by Hamas are now bearing fruits after the majority of them have been declared safe. The news brought hope to the devastated families of Thai hostages who have been waiting for news about their loved ones. Thai Prime Minister Sethar Thavisin said the 20 Thai hostages are being transferred to a new location until they are released. Sethar thanked Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim for relaying him the information regarding the whereabouts of the Thai citizens kidnapped by Hamas. The number of Thai workers taken hostage by the Palestinian militant group has increased to 23. However, the whereabouts of the 3 other hostages are not yet known. The news comes less than a week after the Prime Minister announced it will be sending a cabinet minister to the Middle East amid efforts to release all the hostages taken captive by Hamas. รายงานจากกรุงเทพมหานคร นายชัดมงคลพิสมัยโกศล SMN News ประเทศไทย สวัสดีครับ
The current round of Israeli-Palestinian conflict has claimed the lives of more than 10,500 people on both sides, more than 9,000 Palestinians, and more than 1,400 Israelis. Andrea Santos will give us the details.
The Gaza Health Ministry said that the current round of conflict had killed 9,061 Palestinians and injured 32,000 others in the Gaza Strip since it broke out on October 7th. In the West Bank, 132 Palestinians had lost their lives as of Thursday morning, with 2,000 others injured, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry. So far, the Palestinian side has reported a total of 9,193 deaths in the ongoing conflict.
CCTV Plus report citing a spokesman of the Palestinian Health Ministry said at a press conference on Thursday that 256 civilians died from Israeli airstrikes on the day. The Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza has received 2,600 missing reports, including 1,150 related to missing or buried children. 135 medical workers have been killed, 25 ambulances have been destroyed, and 16 out of the 35 hospitals in Gaza have been out of service. Palestinian Health Minister Mai Al-Kaila said Wednesday that the only cancer treatment hospital in the Gaza Strip has gone out of service after it ran out of fuel. As of now, there is a lack of official and verified information regarding the number of casualties on the Israeli side in the ongoing conflict. Israeli media on Monday reported 1,538 deaths among the Israelis due to the conflict, while Al Jazeera reported 1,405 Israeli deaths on the same day. However, both these figures have not been confirmed by Israeli authorities. The Israel Defense Forces announced that Israeli troops had broken through Hamas' front line of defense in the northern Gaza Strip and conducted strikes in Gaza's Jabalia refugee camp, destroying Hamas facilities and killing a commander of the Islamist group's anti-tank missile unit. Hamas Al-Qassam brigades mentioned that their members were fighting Israeli troops in various locations across northern Gaza and attacking Israeli tanks and bulldozers with anti-tank weapons. Reporting, this is Andrea Santos, SMNI News.
Saudi Arabia's fundraising campaign of Palestinians in Gaza is attracting significant attention. The initiative collected more than 60,000 donations worth $17 million in its first few hours. Roque reports.
It was nearly a month since Saudi Arabia's King Salman and his son Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman launched a fundraising campaign for residents in Gaza. The public campaign has launched through the Sahem platform, an initiative under the King Salman Center for Relief and Humanitarian Action, also known as KS Relief. As of Friday morning, UAE local time, the total number of donors to have accessed the online donations drive stood at over 305,000, with more than 150 million Saudi Riyal worth of funds collected. The Saudi king has donated 30 million Saudi Riyal, while the Crown Prince donated 20 million Saudi Riyal to the fundraising campaign. An emergency Arab summit is being worked on later this month in Riyadh to discuss efforts to stop the violence in Gaza. Reporting, this has been Melchizedek Cadiz, SMNI News, Kuwait.
Ukraine's top general admits to a stalemate with Russia, while the Russian defense minister reports Ukrainian losses in the ongoing conflict. Kai Vilan reports.
Ukraine's military commander General Valery Zaluzhny has conceded that the conflict with Russia has reached a stalemate, with Moscow having the upper hand due to its greater resources. Zaluzhny emphasized the need for technological advancements to change the status quo. Zaluzhny told The Economist that Ukraine will not make any progress against Russia unless some new technology emerges to give it a decisive advantage. He also conceded that without the appearance of a so-called wonder weapon, that Russia is in the better position as it has a bigger population and has greater resources. Despite hopes of Ukrainian officials, Zaluzhny predicted that there will most likely be no need and beautiful breakthrough, and that the conflict may drag on for years and wear down the economy. However, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov disagreed with Zaluzhny, saying that Russia was not in a stalemate and would keep pursuing its special military operation against Ukraine. Peskov also said that Ukraine should have long acknowledged that expecting a Russian defeat was absurd. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu stated that despite Western weapon supplies, Ukrainian attempts to advance on the front line have resulted in significant losses and declining troop morale. Russian air defense troops were commended for intercepting Ukrainian assets, including planes and missiles. The conflict in the Middle East has strained Ukraine's ability to secure Western assistance. In the U.S., aid to Ukraine has become a contentious issue, with a separate $14.3 billion package proposed for Israel. EU nations are facing pressure due to the conflict's costs and are re-evaluating their support for Ukraine. Slovakia's newly elected Prime Minister Robert Fico has opposed aiding Ukraine due to the concerns about corruption. Reporting for Newsline World, Kai Villan, SMNI News.
We will be right back after the break.
Welcome to SMNI. You're watching Business and Politics. I'm Dante Klinkang.
Today's world can be described by the acronym VUCA, which stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And yet, being immobilized by fear is not an option. How will captains of industry navigate the course ahead? And what policy assistance will they get from the leaders in government? Watch SMNI as it tackles these and other important questions of the day. On Business and Politics, hosted by Dante Klinkang II, Chairman and CEO of the Manila Times. New episodes featuring corporate and political leaders air every Saturday. Prime time at 7 p.m. Only here on SMNI. Truth that matters.
We're glad you found SMNI News. If you subscribe to TV programs that help build the nation, then we got you covered. Watch your favorite TV shows through GSAT TV Channel 40, Signal TV Channel 186. And if you are a Sky Cable subscriber, you can watch SMNI in National Capital Region, Sky Cable Channel 162, Cebu, Sky Cable Channel 37, Davao City, Sky Cable Channel 14, 43, and 46. General Santos City, Sky Cable Channel 37. Zamboanga, Sky Cable Channel 53. Bacolod, Sky Cable Channel 37. Iloilo, Sky Cable Channel 36. Dumaguete, Sky Cable Channel 37. Baguio, Sky Cable Channel 14. And Lawag, Sky Cable Channel 10. You may also watch SMNI on digital TV in Davao City and Manila, and also in TV Plus and GMA Afford-a-Box and over 500 cable TV affiliates nationwide. Watch SMNI on digital channels in Mega Manila, Channel 39 and 43. We are also on analog TV in Lawag, Channel 35, Isabela, Channel 37, Vegan, Channel 38, Rojas, Channel 39, Butuan, Channel 39, and Davao, Channel 43. If you're on your mobile phone, download SMNI app or visit smni.com to get the latest news, updates, and more. Also, browse through the day's top stories and receive notifications for breaking news. Watch us live on our official Facebook and Rumble accounts, and you can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, so you don't miss out on our extra minute segments. Wherever you decide to watch, we're glad you choose SMNI News, the home of nation builders who bravely bring truth that matters.
Back in the news, China is again calling on Japan to responsibly dispose of nuclear contaminated water from the crippled Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. Alisa Torres reports.
China has urged Japan to responsibly dispose of nuclear contaminated water from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, especially as it enters its third phase of release. This was stated by Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin Thursday, following the commencement of the third round of releasing radioactive water into the ocean by the Tokyo Electric Power Company, or TEPCO. Japanese news agencies Kyodo and Jiji cited source with TEPCO said that in the third phase, 7,800 tons of water will be released into the Pacific Ocean from November 2, and it is expected to continue until November 20. Wang emphasized the need for Japan to halt its practice of transferring the risk of nuclear pollution to the world, and expressed concern about the radioactive water splashing onto workers at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. He also stressed that Japan should stop shifting the risk of nuclear pollution to the whole world.
日本不顾国内外反对，已经向太平洋排放了15600吨的核污染水，公然将污染的风险转嫁给全世界，极不负责任。最近刚发生的福岛核电站放射性废液建设事故再次证明，负责核污染水排放的日本东京电力公司内部管理混乱，惯于隐瞒欺骗，日方宣称的安全透明的排海计划根本不能令人信服。
Wang stated that despite local and international opposition, Japan continues to take irresponsible actions regarding the release of radioactive water into the Pacific Ocean. The spokesperson claimed that TEPCO has a history of concealing safety issues and deceiving the government, and Japan's assurances of a safe and transparent ocean disposal plan are not convincing.
日方应正视国际社会的普遍关切，同利益攸关方，特别是周边邻国进行充分协商，以负责任的方式处置核污染水。随着越来越多的福岛核污染水被排入大海，尽快建立一个有日本周边邻国等利益攸关方切实参与、长期有效的国际监测安排的有效性日益凸显。国际原子能机构应为此发挥应有的作用，日方应全面配合，严防核污染水排海造成不可挽回的后果。
Wang further emphasized that Japan needs to address international concerns, engage in comprehensive consultations with other stakeholders, especially neighboring countries, and dispose of the nuclear contaminated water responsibly. According to Wang, the international community must take action and establish an immediate international monitoring arrangement with substantial participation from all stakeholders, including Japan's neighboring countries, given the increasing release of nuclear contaminated water into the ocean. Reporting, this has been Alisa Torres, SMNI News.
More young talents are being discovered in the United Kingdom, making the Filipino community proud and supportive of them, especially in London, England. Recently, a small event was organized to welcome these young talents, but there are upcoming bigger and more shows that the Filipino community can anticipate. Bridget Valencia has the story.
Young talents in the United Kingdom are unstoppable in joining various shows, whether big or small, to gain more popularity and support from the Filipino community. Aside from barrio fiestas and charity events, small concerts are also becoming more popular here in UK to showcase young talents. In a small mini concert held at Apureso Bar, a popular face from the Philippines known as Maria La Roca entertained Filipino audience with jaw-dropping hit songs. She became more popular back in 2018 when she made it to Simon's Top 6 on the X Factor here in UK. This year, she is back to continue her singing career and has an upcoming concert to promote.
I am really happy to be back here po in the UK, and I am so blessed to be welcomed again by the Filipino community and of course my friends and my family as well here. Of course I am back here for another comeback concert. It was produced by MB Star Productions. I have a concert upcoming this coming January. It's going to be like a birthday concert, and I will be auditioning for another year for Britain's Got Talent. I hope you guys support me. I will be having this audition this coming November, so I hope you guys really pray for it na sana we could get the golden buzzer.
Another familiar face was also featured during the special night known as Jana Locero.
I am the pop star princess of London. I started my career in Sylvian Theatre School. I took singing and dancing lessons. Regarding my career, I really want to pursue going to events, being a guest act, being front act. Everywhere I will accept any invites, and I love being on the stage. So thank you to Maria Roque for having me as her guest for tonight's show.
WMA or We Made It Society is also making their own mark in music, and this is their first official event to attend as a group, and through this they hope that they will get more recognition and offers.
Thank you sa event na to. Check out our new song, Spotify, WMI, unang labas lang, all black.
MB Productions gave these young talents a chance to entertain both Filipinos and British audience at this event, and they hope that this would inspire more young talents to come out and perform also. For God and my beloved Philippines, this has been Bridget Valencia, SMNI News, United Kingdom.
Just recently, members of the Ladies of All Nations International, coming from different parts of the globe, celebrated United Nations Day and visited Davao City. The details in this report from Jean Domingo.
As part of their commitment to advancing women's rights and empowerment, the Ladies of All Nations International, or Luwani, recently embarked on a visit to the Philippines, specifically in Davao City. This visit aimed to raise awareness about the challenges faced by women and girls in the region and foster collaboration.
I'm Dr. Val Alino from Mexico City. You know, this is actually my second time here in the Philippines, and I have to say that my highlight is actually the love that I feel of the people everywhere I go. The heart is my topic, and I feel like I'm so connected to everyone's heart. Everybody's so welcoming, and we are 54 delegates here from different countries, 54 different countries, embracing your heart and the heart of everyone here.
We work with leaders around the world, and those leaders as well, they are supporting each other, and then we also support the vulnerable community so that we're able to give them the skills so that they can help their own community. But at the same time, we join forces, we are one. As you can see with our theme, we create a wonderful world of inclusion where all means all. That's why we're here in Philippines, but we're from different nationality. But we help each other so that we can raise the flags in our own communities.
Being here in the Philippines was one of my dreams come true. And you have made it all even more than I expected. Because as we unite, as we come together, as brothers and sisters, it doesn't matter the race, it doesn't matter the language, it doesn't matter the color, but it does mean that we're together working for someone else. And that's what we want to leave here in the Philippines, and that you could count with us.
During their stay in Davao City, Luwani members engaged in productive discussions with local officials and community leaders. The focus of these conversations revolved around critical issues such as gender-based violence, access to education and healthcare, and economic empowerment for women.
I believe it's time for women to be unmuted, unashamed, and unapologetic, and telling their stories to the world. And so I've done a lot of volunteer work in the communities abroad. I mean, anywhere from Africa to India to Mexico, of course, to the United States. I have a servant heart, and one of the core values of my organization is charity. It's number one. We have charity, culture, communication, community, as well as collaboration.
I've never been here. I'm originally from Hawaii, and I've always wanted to come to Davao and to the Philippines. And what I have found is that the people here are so friendly, and they're so wonderful to the elders. You know, I don't see that so much in the U.S. And I'm 87, going to be 88, so it's just such a nice thing to know that they respect their elders, and it's such a beautiful place with beautiful plants, and it's just fabulous.
Important talaga na yung mga countrymen natin, na mga Pilipino na I hope na maka-join sila dahil it is a humanitarian group. There is no words that can describe how I feel because I've been with Luwani since 2019. And this is the best humanitarian organization because it's open for everybody. As our team, all means all, so there is no everybody's included.
The experience has been amazing. The treatment, the welcoming and the smiles and the engagement that the Philippine people that have joined us in one way or another has been amazing. So I'm very, very thankful.
Our voice is to create peace, unity, not only just women power, but to bring in men that support women and to create a better world for all. That's our thing. When we say all for all, we mean that.
One thing I must mention, which admire, especially admire to me, because I already visited almost 70 to 80% of the world, and wherever I go, for example, Hong Kong or Singapore or UAE, Saudi Arabia, then South Korea, Japan, Australia, wherever, I always saw the Philippine women, which are totally amazing. They are working hard to support their family, to support their kids for a good education, good food, good dress, for their better future. And I really want to appreciate them. It's totally amazing.
They had a short program in the city and also visited the Kids and House of Hope and the ongoing construction of the world's largest indoor cathedral, the King Dome.
Thanks, Pastor Apollo Kibuloy, for allowing us to enter your kingdom. And thanks for SMNI Malaysia, Sir Ernie, Chereville, and SMNI Davao. Thank you so much.
Well, I am impressed because of the love of God in this city. Because only people that love God in this way could honor God with such a beautiful building, honor the pastor that's heading this, and hopefully we will see many, many more Asian people coming and doing these type of things that will exalt the name of God.
And cap their night with a hearty dinner and some good time.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm so glad that this is my first time in Davao. So I'm so excited to see your city. It's a beautiful city, beautiful people, lots of smiles, lots of kindness. We are so embraced. So I am so happy to be here to represent the Filipino Americans and for all the work that everyone does. So thank you so much.
This Luwani International was very important in the community. First, because the advocacy is about the sexual abuse children, displaced children, and the victims of the rape, and for the rehabilitation center, so through the fundraising of the foundation of Dr. Maya.
No puedo dejar de decir que Dios bendiga a Filipinas.
I cannot stop to say, may God bless the Philippines.
Porque realmente han tocado nuestro corazón como familia, como humanos y como líderes.
Because sincerely, you have all touched our lives as leaders, as people, and
human beings.
Como seres humanos.
Working with everybody from around the world, from Caroline Makaka, even to my wife, to my children, just everybody. If we work together, we can make a flower. So if we all plant a seed where it's needed, if we water and look after that seed, it will grow. When it grows, the leaves fall off, and then everybody else will work together and it'll grow and grow. And hopefully, for the generations of our young children, we can make a better future, more stability, more income, and just an all-round peaceful world. And this is what Loni is all about.
The visit of Luwani to Davao City indeed exemplifies their ongoing commitment to promoting women's rights and empowerment on a global scale. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Jean Domingo, SMNI News.
Kabayan! Oo, ikaw. Alam mo ba na you can win lots of prizes when you bring home a guest in the Philippines? The Department of Tourism brings you the Visita Be My Guest program. Joining is easy. 1. Sign up as a sponsor. You can do this via the official BBMG website. All Filipinos of legal age living in the Philippines or abroad can join. 2. Invite your guests. The more you invite, the more chances of winning. And 3. Travel to the Philippines and upload your proof of travel to complete the registration process and earn e-raffle tickets and the BBMG travel passport and privilege card that you can use to get discounts as you travel around our award-winning destinations in the Philippines. Join now and get a chance to win in any of the 3 raffle dates in 2023. So what are you waiting for? Come home and bring your guests to the Philippines. Sign up, invite friends and family, and travel to the world's leading beach and dive destination and the world's leading country destination for tourism, the Philippines. Bisita, be my guest in the Philippines.
Back in the news, the expanding operations of the paramilitary forces in Sudan are causing fears of the conflict spreading to new regions. Jean Domingo is back for more news.
The fighting between the Sudanese armed forces and the paramilitary rapid support forces is now approaching its 7th month, with the fighting seem to have no end in sight. After months of conflict, the paramilitary group has withdrawn its attention in the capital city of Khartoum and has expanded its presence in the nation's central regions. The central state of Al Jazeera is coming under threat more than a week after the paramilitary seized Nyala, the second largest city in Sudan. The state of Al Jazeera is hosting the majority of the 1.2 million internally displaced people who have fled the fighting in the capital city of Khartoum since April. Meanwhile, United Nations Humanitarian and Emergency Relief Chief Martin Griffiths described the more than half-a-year civil war in Sudan as one of the worst humanitarian nightmares in recent history. Recent data from United Nations reveal that an estimated 9,000 people have been killed and another 5.6 million have been forced to flee their homes since the conflict broke out. Delegations representing the Sudanese army and the paramilitary group had arrived in Saudi Arabia's port city of Jeddah on Wednesday to resume a new round of negotiations in hope to achieve a ceasefire. Reporting, this has been Jean Domingo, SM9 News.
Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida is in the Philippines for his official visit from November 3 to 4. The Philippines and Japan will expand cooperation in economic development and security. Ivylan has the details.
Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida is currently in the Philippines for his official visit, which began on November 3 and will continue until November 4. Prime Minister Kishida's plane landed at Balagbag Ramp in Naiya, Pasay City on Friday afternoon at around 2 p.m. Following this, Kishida, along with Transportation Secretary Jaime Bautista, laid flowers in a wreath-laying ceremony at the monument of Dr. Jose Rizal in Manila. In the evening, President Marcos Jr. led the arrival ceremony for Japanese Prime Minister at the Kalayaan grounds of Malacanang, followed by a guest book signing. Afterwards, a bilateral meeting between the President and the Japanese Prime Minister took place. During this meeting, the strengthening of the long-standing relationship between the Philippines and Japan was discussed further. This relationship covers economic development, development partnership, security cooperation, people-to-people ties, and more.
I'm glad to note that officials from the other branches of our government have likewise been committed to keeping our relationships vibrant. As we begin our discussions, I look forward to these very meaningful exchanges.
President Marcos shared that in July 2023, they marked the 67th anniversary of the normalization of diplomatic relations between the Philippines and Japan.
Our decades of cooperation have developed into a robust and strategic partnership built on trust, mutual respect, and common values.
The chief executive also recalled his productive visit to Japan in the early part of the current year, emphasizing the strength of the Philippines-Japan relationship and identifying areas of cooperation between the two countries.
And following my official visit to Japan in February 2023, we have welcomed several high-level delegations, including that of the delegation from the the LDP of Japan and Japan-Philippines Parliamentary Friendship League. I also note the official parliamentary visit of the Philippine Senate to Japan on April of this year.
Meanwhile, President Marcos thanked Kishida for accepting the invitation to visit the Philippines.
I wish you and your delegation a comfortable stay, despite the fact that it's a very, very quick visit, but I hope that we will be able to achieve a great many things.
In his part, Prime Minister Kishida also expressed his gratitude to President Marcos for the warm welcome from the people of the Philippines. In addition, the two leaders held a presentation of key agreements and a joint press statement at the President's Hall in Malacanang. The two leaders shared the results of their bilateral meeting in their joint press statements. Before this, Marcos and Kishida witnessed the exchange of key agreements aimed at strengthening the bilateral relations between the Philippines and Japan. These agreements primarily focus on economic development, development cooperation, and security cooperation. President Marcos Jr. also hosted a dinner banquet at Malacanang for Prime Minister Kishida's official visit. Present at the state dinner were Vice President Sara Duterte, House Speaker Martin Romualdez, Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri, AFP Chief General Romeo Browner Jr., Cabinet Secretaries, and others. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, Kai Villan, SMNI News.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the message of the appointed Son of God. The Father Almighty is pleased with the sacrifice of thanksgiving and praise.
And for our Christmas countdown, it's only 51 days to go before Christmas. And that's all for today's edition of Newsline World. For more news update, you may visit us on smninewschannel.com or follow us on our official social media accounts, Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. For God and Country, I'm Mike Dennis Oliveira.
For God and Country, I'm Frederico Velloso. Thank you for watching Newsline World, and thank you to our beloved Pastor Apollo Sikiboloy, for the great opportunity to be part of this program.
May you always continue to listen on SMNI as it delivers nothing but fair, truthful, and balanced news, because SMNI is your source of credible news.